Yo, yo, yo. We back live recording episode 11. Welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast. Been on a little bit of hiatus due to some sicknesses, but we back for another one. Your good fellas is here. I'm Chris Porterr, obviously. I got my good brother on the other side of me, M. Dot. What's going on with you, bro? How's everything?
Good, man. Life's going well. Work's going good. Kids sick, but it is what it is as kids, man.
Shit, glad to hear you feeling better, though, man.
Yeah, bro, man. We were supposed to audience to record last week, but I got hit with some. I don't even know what type of sickness I got hit with, but I couldn't talk. I had the chills, I had the fever. I don't know what it was, and then now I'm feeling a lot better. So God is good on that one, but this sickness
Amen.
every other week on that. I don't know what the hell's going on. What about you, bro?
I'm good, man. It's crazy, as men, we get to a point where we just hit our stride and start feeling like, yo, I got this shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I just been at peace a lot lately, man. Feeling comfortable with my circumstances and just thugging through everything for sure. So I'm feeling good, man. Feeling real good.
that's good, bro. That's good. I think like you said, I think every man has that point where it's like everything's going wrong, but the only thing you can go up from there. You can't really go down no more. So it's like
For
every man goes through
sure.
the struggles, the tribulation, the like, damn, what the hell can I do? And then it's like a bright light. You get a dose of good news, or you get something that's like, oh, okay, I'm in a better mood now. So I mean, it happens, man.
Nah,
It
for
happens.
sure. For sure. Yo, we got a crazy episode coming for y'all, though. Go ahead and let them know what we got coming today, bro.
I bet. So today we have a long episode, but it's gonna be jam packed with a lot of good things. So we're gonna talk about the playoffs, about what's going on, who's in the playoffs currently, what we kind of think is gonna happen, who's gonna be in the Super Bowl, and give our takes on that as well. Then we're gonna talk about. I know people are like, "Oh my God, all you guys do is talk about politics." Well, we're about politics, culture, politics, and sports. That's literally what we talk about. Those are three taglines. So, and then we're going to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, who just dropped out of the Republican presidential run. He dropped out. We're going to talk about him, and then we're also going to talk about Ron DeSantis and how he dropped out, and what they both have in common, and kind of where the Republican Party is now, who are the remaining candidates, and who we think is going to be the front runner for the nominee for the Republican Party. And then lastly, we're also going to talk about, well, not lastly, but we're also going to talk about the Breakfast Club. Right now they're going through a little bit of issues with finding a third guest. As you guys will know, give a little backstory. It used to be the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God, DJ Envy, and Angela, but she left around 2022 to start her own career, start her own path. And they've been rotating hosts from, Jason Lee to Lauren LaRosa and Jess Hilarious. So, we're talking about who they have now, and how a third host might not be possible. And to add, CP is also going to discuss his life and about what happened to him many years ago, and how he's here today, and how he came out of what happened to him. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Let's
So,
go.
football playoffs, right? So, as everybody knows, right now we're battling with the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. The AFC Championship is the Ravens versus the Chiefs, and the NFC Championship is going to be 49ers versus the Lions, and that's going to be this weekend, right? This weekend coming
Yeah,
up, right?
Sunday. Yep, Sunday.
Sunday this weekend. Two games, 4 teams. Who's going to be the two? CP. Who do you have winning AFC? Ravens or Chiefs?
I mean, I feel like history says not to bet against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in AFC Championship games. I think he's maybe 3-1 in AFC Championship games. But I got the Ravens, man. To be honest with you, as much as I've been trying to fight it because of my good brother MMG's getting on my nerves about the Ravens, I got the Ravens. I got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. I got Lamar showing out against them this weekend,
Yeah.
so I definitely see the Ravens making it to the bowl as the AFC representative. What you thinking, though?
I think I agree with you. I think the way Lamar's been playing, it's like writing on the writing on the wall. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm just tired of the Chiefs. Like it's like back I want to say 10 years ago, everybody was tired of the Patriots. Like, come
Man.
on, Patriots. Come on, guys, Patriots every time. Like, okay, cool. The Chiefs, they overcame some injuries. They overcame a lack of star power. They didn't have Tyreek Hill no more. It's just Travis Kelce. Their receiving core is not as powerful as it once was. Back I want to say 1 to 2 years ago, their receiving core was freaking phenomenal. So
Yeah.
now it's not as it used to be. You got Mark Valdez Scantling stepping up. You got Travis Kelce doing what he do. But to me, I'm tired of the Taylor Swift show. I'm tired of it.
You over the Swifties?
I'm over it, bro. I'm literally like, that's the one thing I can say. I'm like, why? Like, to me, I don't care for it. But I'm rooting for Lamar, and I want to see him make history. I want to see him do great things, and I just want to see him promise what he said he was going to do when he got drafted. He's going to take the Ravens to the Super Bowl. He's going to win a chip. So I kind of want to I want him to make do with that and
For sure.
get them where he needs to be. So I think if he triumphs over Mahomes, they're going to win the championship. They're going to win. I think they just have too much of a good thing going right now. And if they can harness that and not make too many mistakes against the Chiefs, I think they can make it happen because their defense is impeccable. So
yeah, for sure. They got a complete team over there. I mean, like I said, it's tough to go against Pat and the Chiefs because they've done it already. They've been here before. They got the pedigree to do it. Crazy part is they won the Super Bowl last year with damn near the same receiving core, minus I think just Juju Smith-Schuster. All these other guys was on the team last year, so it's tough to count them out. But I think the Ravens just are a complete team, top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. They're pretty good, pretty special. Lamar is a special player, and then like I said, their defense is elite too. So, if the Chiefs find a way to pull it out, I think it's going to be because of a special game from Pat, along with a couple mistakes made by the Ravens, who just don't have as much experience in this situation as the Chiefs. But no doubt about it, like we both said, definitely favoring the Ravens. Rooting for Lamar to get it done, man. I'd love to see it. I ain't gonna lie. Florida boy in Baltimore, taking Baltimore to the chip, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. I can't agree with you no more than that. 49ers and Lions for the NFC Championship. Who you got?
Now, this is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This was a tough game to try and pick. I'm not a fan of either team. I don't really buy into the hype of either team this year. But I will say I think I got Detroit, man. I think I got Detroit. Yeah. I think that the 49ers didn't look great against Green Bay last week. Purdy didn't look great against Green Bay last week. They got it done at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? He led them on a game-winning drive, so I'm not going to take nothing away from them.
Look, that game could have went either way. I was actually rooting for Green Bay, to be honest.
Hey, listen, so was I, brother.
I hate 49ers, bro, but Green Bay, I hate them too, but I was actually rooting for Jordan Love because he's a rookie, and I think that he was doing some spectacular things, man.
Shout out to my Uncle Martin because I never even hated the 49ers until I realized that he was a fan my entire life. I remember growing up, and I've always been an Eagles fan, but for some reason in my bedroom there was a framed 49ers Jerry Rice jersey the way until I made it.
What was that?
My uncle,
wow.
My uncle is a diehard 49ers fan. He's been a 49ers fan almost all his life. He done been to San Fran and Santa Clara and seen them play in person. Like he's just that boy, and it irks my soul now. So and under no circumstances do I even I can't root for him under any condition whatsoever. So I'm definitely favoring Detroit. I just think that Detroit has more firepower too. Quiet as kept, man. They got a very dynamic offense. When Jared Goff has a clean pocket and when he doesn't turn the ball over, he is elite. I can't take it away from him. And they got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think is a top 5 receiver in this league. Doesn't get enough credit for the season that he's had and the production that he's had since he's came into the league. I like their backfield. They got a good offensive line. They run the ball. They're very balanced on offense. And their defense gets it done. I don't think their defense is special by no means, but they got a pretty good pass rush with Aiden Hutchinson and the boys up front. And their secondary is pretty good too, So I think I don't think that the 49ers are a lock to win. I think Detroit has a real good shot of going into San Fran and knocking them off and getting to their first Super Bowl for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm kind of similar to you. I really don't care for either team. I mean, to be honest, I think Detroit has a better history. They have more of a better story, in my opinion. Just because of the fact with Jared Goff, it's like a redemption story from him coming from Los Angeles Rams, having that beautiful success story that he had, and then it's like, all right, well, he shit the bed with that one. Get rid of him. In comes Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford takes them to the Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl, and it's like, damn, why couldn't I do that? So now he's able to do it with another team. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be their first conference championship game since 1992. So about 31 years, 32 years. And if they do win, it'll be their first Super Bowl appearance ever. So it'll be their first time ever going to the Super Bowl. Now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm going to go with the Lions. I don't like the 49ers. I don't have that big of a grudge towards the Lions as the 49ers because the Lions really, because I've been a Cowboys fan, they really ain't been that good. Like they really
been bad all our lives.
This is the first time they really been like, oh snap! Like I didn't see this. Did you see them? Let's be honest. Did you see the Lions being as dominant as they were? I didn't see it until I want to say midway, close to about 10 games into the season. Where I'm like, oh, what's going on with them? Where's this coming from? Because after 10 games, it's like, all right, who's still above 500? Who's like 9-1, 9-2, like who's 8-2, who's 7, like who are those teams? And it's like, well, the Lions still hanging in there. What's going on? So I think after 10 games, I was like, these guys are doing pretty good. They're not really slagging off, or they're not really losing a lot of games. They're really playing pretty perfectly. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think it makes for a better story than the 49ers. I mean, Brock Purdy. He's a technical football player. I think he's gonna manage the game well. I think he's gonna make moves. I think he's gonna do what he needs to do. But I think the Lions are probably gonna pull this one out and get the W. And if everybody's saying what the NFL's rigged, like I'm thinking of it as a wrestling fan. Like, what makes a better story? What's gonna get a better reaction? Like, what's gonna get the better pop? Is it gonna be the 49ers and the Ravens, or is it gonna be the Ravens and the Lions? Ravens, you got Lamar Jackson, first Super Bowl, doing what he said he was gonna do, finally beat Patrick Mahomes, and then you have over here Lions, Detroit, first time in 32 years, Jared Goff, redemption story. Like it's just to me like it makes a better story. That's just me. It just makes a better story to me.
Storyline wise, I definitely agree with you. I think this is not tying into what I just mentioned, but I think most people probably have a little bit of 49ers fatigue, the same way they might have Kansas City fatigue, where they've been consistently good for a little while now. They've had a good team pretty much since Kyle Shanahan has been the coach. Even going back to Jim Harbaugh, really, they've had a pretty solid team.
It's like
going back a little while now. Yeah, exactly. Kaepernick days and all that stuff. So, I think they talk a big game. They're a physical team, so taking nothing away from them, but they got holes. They got holes. They lost Debo last week. I'll be curious to see if he's playing this week. Whereas I think Detroit is healthier. I think they might be a little bit more complete. I mean, take nothing away from San Fran, man. You still got C-Mac. You still got Ayuk, Jennings, Kittle. So they got some dogs over there, man. It's not going to be a blowout by no means, one way or the other. But like you said, I just think for the sake of narratives and for the sake of intrigue, it would be dope to see Detroit get there this year. It'd be really cool to see like you said, Jared Goff get to redeem himself for, the one Super Bowl that he went to. I think people forget that sometimes too, is that he is a Super Bowl quarterback. He has been to a Super Bowl before, regardless of whether or not they won it. He has that experience. So it'll be good to see, man. It'll definitely be good to see. I'm excited for that game. I'm excited for that game for sure.
I'm excited for it as well. I think I can clearly put this as a redemption game, redemption season for him, because I think he was written off when he lost the Super Bowl. I think they written him off as a good quarterback. I think I'm gonna be honest. I wrote him off. I didn't think he was gonna. I don't think he was gonna bounce back from that. Similar to like those quarterbacks that had a great season or two, can throw 4,000 or 5,000 yards, are really good, like a Mitch Trubisky or like
Carson Wentz,
or like a Matthew Stafford when he was with Detroit. Like he had 4,000 or 5,000 yard seasons, damn near every season.
Right.
Like he just had to be in the right system, the right team to get to him to where he needed to be.
Definitely. So, and they put a good team around Jared Goff too. Like he's got a good squad around him. I think that was key for him, was just having coaches that believed. I don't think Sean McVay necessarily believed in him.
And having good pieces around him.
They got elite pieces. They go at least 4 deep at receiver. They got 2 running backs. They got a rookie tight end in Laporta that's a Pro Bowler. So it's they got a squad, man. They got a squad, and San Fran is gonna have their hands full trying to contain that offense. If they get pressure on him, he's still Jared Goff, so he's not elusive by no means. You know what I mean? But he's a good quarterback. I can't. I definitely wouldn't. Going into this game, I think he's the best quarterback in that game. I think he's better than Brock Purdy.
You got more experience than him. You have a lot more experience.
Definitely.
So we're both in a consensus of Super Bowl predictions, Ravens and Lions.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
So you heard it here, audience. If you listening to us, Ravens and Lions, Super Bowl 2024. That's what we're going with.
If you gamble,
put the money on them.
That's where you go. That's where you go right there.
Put the money on. Put the money line on them. All right. So let's shift gears. Now we're into politics once again. Chris Porter and I, we're not trying to force y'all to vote who you want to vote for. We're not trying to advocate for any of these people. We're just giving you our opinion on how we feel about the Republican Party and how it is now. Now, we can't talk about the Democratic Party because they have no candidates right now. Like you said before, it's just Joe Biden who is the incumbent. That's all we can talk about.
There's no suspense there right now, man. It's nothing to see. We know who that nominee is going to be.
Is if Biden comes out and says, you know what, I'm not going to run. I step down as president. Kamala's the president. And then they we'll do a presidential debate. We want these 3-4 candidates, and then we'll pick who we want to rerun. That will shake it up. If you have a Gavin Newsom coming in, if you have a AOC or somebody, if Bernie wants to come back in there, Andrew Yang, whoever it may be, then we have a little bit more to talk about. But right now, the focus is on the Republican Party because they got a lot of stuff going on right now. The Republican Party right now is that house down the street. They got the cops coming every other week. And you like, they got going on over there. What's going on? Am I lying? It's always something, right?
Spot on with that one. For sure.
I mean? You look down the street, you got the neighbors. The cops is here again? So, same thing. So, I'm not even going to waste time. Let's dive into it. So, right now we're talking about Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out of the 2024 Republican primaries. He dropped out. And when he dropped out, guess who he endorsed? Donald Trump.
You know who?
Donald Trump. He endorsed Donald Trump. He endorsed Donald Trump. Despite vowing to support Trump, Trump's campaign turned on him before the Iowa caucuses labeled him a fraud. So there's a lot of infighting within the Republican Party. Even Ramaswamy's coming out endorsing them. Then it's like Trump's party is already attacking him. So it's very wild. Even after he endorsed them. So it's kind of crazy. Ramaswamy embraced apocalyptic conspiracy theories, including false claims about the Capitol attack and the racist theory of replacement. His opening gambit aimed to take Trump's America First agenda further, proposing drastic measures like eliminating the Department of Education and the FBI by executive order. Ramaswamy Ramaswamy clashed fiercely with the Republican rivals on the debate stage, targeting figures like Governor Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Initially gaining traction on that in national polling, he peaked at 11.6% support, but slipped back down due to controversial tactics and stretched truths. His strategy to cling to Trump, hoping for Trump's withdrawal from the race, proved unsustainable as Trump remained firm in his candidacy. Ramaswamy had contributed nearly $17 million of his own money by the end of September, but the lack of success in Iowa led to his withdrawal. So, for those of you who don't know, the Iowa primaries just happened, and Trump won it by the majority. I think it was like 55%.
Yeah,
So
he definitely got
that.
over 50%.
He won, and that's a new thing that's never really happened before. So he won that by 55%. Second was Nikki Haley, who got 48%. Then it was Ron DeSantis. I think he got about like 12, 13%, and then Ramaswamy was fourth in the Iowa primary. So I'm gonna give my truth, what I think about this, and then Chris, I'll let you go. But I think Ramaswamy, he put a lot of his own money into it. He wasn't backed. He didn't have a super PAC behind him. He is a billionaire. He has a lot of money, but how much of your own money are you going to put into a campaign that's bleeding? That's not really a smart investment on his behalf. And I think him pulling out Iowa, and then they had New Hampshire right after. He already seen Iowa. He wasn't going to get it, and he knows why people aren't going to vote for him. He already knows that. He knows that because number one, he is a Hindu, and I think a lot of Christian conservatives are not going to vote for him because of that, because he's a Hindu. So that's number one. Number two is he doesn't have a lot of a political experience. So he doesn't really have any experience under his belt for people to say, you know what, I want to vote for this guy because of this, that, and that. He does have the up on everybody else being the youngest. So a lot of millennials will be, oh snap, he's young. Like he knows about us. He was born around the same time we were. He has a little bit more we have more of a kinship with him in comparison to Trump or DeSantis, who a little bit older. So he's coming with new ideas, fresh ideas. But I think Ramaswamy's, as the article said, his thing was to leech on to what Trump already had, his following, right? That's a good game plan to kind of try to embrace the MAGA principles and America comes first and all this good stuff. But, the party speaks for itself. They want Trump. You can't really, Trump's been leading this thing, even with the allegations, even with the recommendation of he's going to go to prison, blah, blah, blah. With the threats of that, he's still been leading the party. That's crazy. Nothing's really stopped him from not leading the party. And he ain't been doing no debates. He ain't really been advertising like that. It's just crazy. So it's kind of the party knows who the party wants. They want Trump another 4 years. The party already spoken, all right? Now, there probably some people in the party that's I don't want this guy. But look, everybody's already spoken. Conservative Christians already spoken. Traditionalist Republicans already spoken. They want Trump. And it look like he's going to be the nominee. I do not think Nikki Haley has enough of power, has enough strong power to really push for that, to really gain a good push. Both candidates that dropped out endorsed Trump. So all their votes are going to Trump. So it's she's screwed. She's screwed. There's no other way she can come out of this. Even when they go to New Hampshire, I think they got to go to South Carolina. I do not think she's going to be able to beat him out unless she holds on until the end, and then God forbid Trump gets arrested and get convicted of what happened. Then he can't run. So then it's okay. Well, we have Nikki Haley. That's the only way I can see it happening. But the way things are going now, I don't see it, man. What's your thoughts, bro?
I think the New Hampshire primaries are actually taking place as we record. Donald Trump has got 54% in New Hampshire too. So, what are you going to do? Like you said, the party is speaking, man. The party is speaking. I think it was always clear. I think it was always pretty obvious from the start. If you looked at just polls and projections and things like that, I think he was always projected to be the Republican nominee.
Right.
But Vivek, he came in with a lot of momentum when he came in and announced his presidency. He kind of shook things up a lot. I enjoyed watching him on a debate stage because you could just see how much he irked the other candidates. So that was
Yeah, they didn't
pretty
like him.
that was pretty cool to me to just see a guy get under the skin of all the other people who were running. Like you mentioned, he obviously had things working against him as far as having no political experience, having no public service experience, period, and just coming from being a businessman in general. I watched his interview on the Breakfast Club this morning,
Watch that too.
and it was interesting to hear. Um, Obviously, you may want to take some of these things with a grain of salt, but to hear he came out $30 million of his own money to fund his campaign was impressive because a lot of these other candidates, obviously, they got big donors, corporate backings, and PACs and super PACs that are supporting them. Whereas this guy was funding it all on his own, just doing it, just strictly out of his pocket, which was pretty impressive. Also, another thing that he had mentioned in the interview was just that as far as the Iowa caucuses is concerned, um, I believe he said 40%. I could be wrong on this, but 40% of the people who voted for Donald Trump said that had they not voted for Donald Trump, that Vivek would have been their second choice. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely, absolutely.
I think that he was smart to tie his campaign to Trump's ideologies and to try and build off of that. Like you said, try and relate to a younger demographic, get younger people to support him. Ultimately, young people don't vote. Sad to say, people
Yeah,
people in our age range and lower, they just don't exercise their right as much at this point at time in their lives. As
yeah.
we get older, I'm sure it'll become more relevant to us and to our peer groups and our age group. But people our age just don't exercise their vote as much as they
It's just,
should.
it's just a waste. It's just a waste of freedom, man. Like
It is. It's sad,
to
man.
me,
It's sad.
that's how I look at it. I think it's just a waste of freedom because any other country you go to, you don't have the freedom to just vote for whoever you want. You either vote for somebody under threat of arrest. Like you don't have the freedom here in America where you can vote for whoever you want. And I get it. People will say the same. Oh, well, it's two sides of the same coin. You're gonna get the. I mean, actually, in actuality, it's not because if that was the thing, then we're living in a communist country. Then this is a communist country. If we're gonna have that ideology, then this is a communist country. We don't have any rights. Whoever we vote for, it don't matter. We might as well be like North Korea and China. We're gonna have that argument. Like I
Yeah.
don't
No,
believe that.
no, I don't believe that. Obviously, like I understand when we get to like the big one as far as like
Yeah,
the presidential race, why some people may feel like that. But when we talking about like,
the local state. No.
yeah, or even just, the primaries to determine who's going to be the representative for each party, you can see clear differences between the candidates, some of their policies and some of their thinking. So I never really co-signed that ideology of just like, it's picking the lesser of two evils, or you know, both parties are pretty much the same. Each candidate is pretty much the same. I never bought into that because if you pay attention enough, or if you invest just a little bit of time into just looking into these candidates, these politicians, and their goals, their ideologies, and what they stand for, you'll find differences. You'll find people who you can relate to a little bit more than the other, and that's who you should lend your support to. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who you should get behind. That's who you should tell your friends about. That's who you should, maybe put on your social media. Politics is always going to be a sticky subject. We chose this lane because we're passionate about it, and we do our due diligence. We look into it, but it's not for everybody. So if you don't even want to broadcast it to that degree, you should still just look into it a little bit more because um, each candidate has something different to offer. As far as Vivek is concerned, though, I think the play for him now is trying to become running mates with Trump. I think that was, if I'm being all the way transparent, I think that was the goal the entire time. If I'm being real with you, he knows
Yeah,
Trump. They've met. They're familiar with each other, regardless if they say things about one another throughout their campaigns. That's politics, man. Like that's just politics in general. Each candidate is going to say something about the other in order to get a leg up. But at the end of the day, ideologies are similar enough or belief systems are similar enough that they can find common ground to the point of being on the campaign trail together. And so ultimately, I think for Vivek, in the long run, the play is going to be to try and be Trump's VP, which coming from where he's come from would be amazing in and in itself. Like just to have gotten this far and to piggyback off of what he's already done or what Trump has already established and find yourself in a position to run aside him, that would be amazing for him. I think that was the play all along. But we'll see, obviously. Nothing is determined as of yet, but like that's just what I've gathered. That's just what I've gathered from watching him, from listening to him. He clearly admires Trump. He's clearly a fan of Trump. And he's bought in to the America First agenda. So I would have liked to see him go farther. Because like I said, I like seeing him debate. I love seeing him debate, and I love seeing the passion that he invoked from the other candidates. But I don't think it's the last time we'll see Vivek in a political atmosphere whatsoever. Like you mentioned, he's the youngest candidate that was running this year, so he's got a long future ahead of him in politics if he so chooses. But that's going to be his path to choose because, like you mentioned, he's filthy rich. Like he's got plenty of money and he's got plenty of opportunities to make more money if he goes back into what he was doing. But I like him. I'm not a Republican voter, so I'm not going to sit up here and pretend to be. But I was a fan. Like I genuinely was a fan. From just the standpoint of shaking stuff up. Like you need that sometimes in politics. You need that candidate to come in and shake stuff up, put everybody else on their toes. And so it was dope to see. Hopefully we see a little bit more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just to piggyback, like I watched the Breakfast Club interview. I didn't really like how the Breakfast Club was talking to this man. Their tone was very like condescending, and like even DJ Envy asked him like, "Why are you even here? Like, what are you doing here? Like, bro, what type of questioning is that? Like, why? What do you know why he's here? He just bowed out. He's there to talk about the person he probably endorsed and what his future plans are. That's exactly why he's there. Why are you here? Are you just here to talk about Trump all day, or are you just here to shoot the shit? Like, what type of questioning is that, bro? Like that, the Breakfast Club gets me angry when they talk to people, man, because sometimes they just be like, bro, he could be doing other things. He'd be home with his children. He's in here sacrificing his time talking to you guys, having a good conversation, but you guys want to be condescending with every question you ask this man. Everything you ask this man, like I don't know. Sometimes I can't watch the Breakfast Club because they are so out of tune sometimes. Like, and they do the same talking points. Oh yeah, Trump's gonna be like Hitler. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like Hitler? Bro, get out. Wow.
He gives dictator vibes, I guess you could say.
Yeah, bro, that is a wild comparison. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think whatever Chris said about Vivek, man, I think it's correct. I think he's, he positioned himself in a good place, especially with Trump. I think if it's not vice presidency, definitely something in his cabinet. He is a former attorney. He's a former lawyer. He went to Harvard. Maybe attorney general. I mean, I don't know, but I definitely think he's going to have a place in Trump's cabinet. But vice president, though, I think with Trump, he has a lot of candidates he can choose from, man. Like, and I'm really thinking he might get a woman this time to be his VP. I really do think he'll do that because he can choose from Tulsi Gabbard. He can choose her. He can choose Ricky Lake. He can choose, what's the one lady's name? There's another candidate, a blonde-haired lady out of I forget what state she's from, but she's another lady. If I can remember her name, I'll definitely tie it in next time.
You're not talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, are you?
No, it's another lady's name. I forget her name. Maybe it's her. I don't know, but it's another female that he spoke highly of, and he can definitely tie. But I think he's keeping it a secret for a reason because it's definitely not going to be Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is not gonna ever be a vice president with Trump because she's like oil and water. Like they're never gonna be able to mix. And she's another one too, man. Like she really tried to play the race card in an interview a couple of days ago. Like,
Yeah, I
did you hear
rolled
that
my eyes.
interview?
Yeah, I did.
Talking about, oh, I'm never gonna be in the GOP because I'm brown. Where? Where are you brown at?
White people shouldn't talk
She
race,
claimed.
man.
She claimed,
White people shouldn't talk race.
bro. This is the thing. She is of Indian descent. Her parents are from India. They both Sikh. But bro, she's whitewashed. She's whitewashed, bro. She changed her name. She don't have that name anymore. Like I did a Wikipedia search and I said, what's this name? I show more respect to Vivek because he didn't change his name. He's brown. They've been calling him all this other stuff. He's probably his whole life. You think he would have been the first person because he's darker than you?
Right, right.
Like, what are you talking about? You play the race card? Like, are you serious? That was crazy.
Ugly.
I don't even think nobody knew she was Indian. She was from India.
No. That's why I just said what I just said because I haven't looked into her backstory, so I just assumed you're a white lady from South Carolina. You know what I'm saying?
No, bro, her parents. Well, she's from South Carolina, but her parents are Sikh. They're from India.
And that's a white lady. No disrespect, but that's a white lady.
Bro, white lady, bro. I agree with you. I'm 100% agree with you. Like, I would have never known. I didn't know she was because I was researching all the candidates, and I said her name like something like whoa, like. But then she changed her name and then she chose white. She doesn't claim herself as Indian and from Indian. She says white because if you Indian, you put Asian, Indian.
Right.
Put that on your demographic. You don't put white. She puts white. Her shit says white on her license. But she just tried to play the race card. I really didn't like that. I was really turned off by that. Like,
there's a lot of people that was turned off by that too, man.
Like, that is disgusting to me. Like,
I don't know what she thought that she was helping herself at all either. Like, I don't know what the motive was.
Like, I was confused. I'm like, I didn't even know. I was with everybody. I didn't even know you weren't white. I thought you were white. Like, what happened?
And then she went from saying that this country was never racist to then saying that she's experienced racism. So which one is it? Like,
bro, she's taking pleas. She's copping pleas, bro.
Bro, that's that politician stuff.
You know what she did? She used the talking point that some politicians have said in the past, and it was like, oh, let me say this. Maybe it would resonate with some people. But then people's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean there's never racism? You have to acknowledge that this country has been racist at a certain point. You can't say there's never been racism. That's impossible.
Founded on racism.
Like, it's founded on it. So you have to acknowledge it. So you say, yeah, this country was founded on principles of racism. We're a country that still has pockets of it. And we try to learn from it and move from it every day. That's what you say. You don't say we've never had racism. And then you say, oh, I would have thought everybody knew this country had slaves in it. What are you talking about? You're talking to 100 millions of people. What are you talking about? You got to be clear.
It's like, yo, who was supposed to buy into that? Like, who? I just want to know what audience was that supposed to serve?
I don't know who she was trying. Maybe she was trying to get the MAGAs or the poor whites. But I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, even they know that the thing was racist, man. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
It's talking out both sides of your face, man. It's politician stuff to me.
And she tried to talk it back. She tried to talk it back. So
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the stuff you gotta be careful for with these candidates because you gotta pick a one that's tried and true that says one thing and means it. If you're racist, cool. You're racist. But don't sit here and say to me this country never been like. What are you talking? What? I would even say if she would have said, yeah, I haven't experienced racism in such a long time. I would agree because you're white. Last time you probably experienced racism was when you was a young girl and then you had Indian parents. I would be like, oh, that makes sense. And you changed your name. Oh, if she would have went with that, like I changed my name because you said you used to get bullied because you was brown. You're not brown. Where are you brown at? In your roots, your hair is brown? What are you talking about? Like, I don't know. But moving on. So, another Republican figure dropped out. Ron DeSantis. High heels Ron. He has dropped out of the race.
That caught us both off guard when we seen that headline. That caught us off guard. I ain't see that one coming.
Bro, they really be coming at this man for wearing his shoes like that. But I wasn't expecting Ron to drop out, just because in the beginning he had I'm telling you right now, he had so much of a strong head start. Like I think everybody knew, like if anything happens to Trump, he got it. And I just think that he just didn't have the headwind anymore, the headspace anymore. And then Nikki Haley started beating him, and I'm like, oh Jesus, Nikki's beating you? Like what the hell's going on? But yeah, I don't know. I think he kind of him and his team probably sat down and was like, listen, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I think I don't know what's going on. I think he just lacked. Like I think Ron's problem was he lacks a lot of charisma. Like he's a very policy guy. He's very public, but he doesn't really relate to the audience as well as people would hope. He probably thinks he does, but I don't think he does. I don't think he has he resonates. And also, I think with his media, you didn't really see a lot of Ron DeSantis interviews in the beginning, so you really didn't see a lot of one-on-ones with him. The only interview I seen with him was when he did with Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment. He did an interview, and that was it. I didn't really see him do a lot of interviews like that, like a lot of publicly broadcasted interviews. So
I mean, he had the cool moment when his campaign started, and he did the Twitter thing with Elon Musk.
Yeah, he did Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, so that was
it was something. No,
go
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was definitely a cool way to kick off his campaign for sure. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it glitched, so most people didn't even get a chance to tune into it like in real time. But even still, just the innovativeness to launch your campaign that way was a dope way to start it.
Right.
But like you said, I don't think that over time, his personality resonated with the voters, or with the audience as a whole. He just lacked that connection piece. And it sounded real rehearsed a lot of times. Like it didn't really sound too genuine as far as when you did hear him speak. So over time you could just see him losing momentum in his campaign. I think he even had to change his campaign manager or whatever the title is called. He had to end up switching campaign managers mid campaign, and so when you see stuff like that happening, you kind of get a sense that things aren't going in the way that the candidate would have liked it to, and so you could kind of see little hints here that he was losing momentum, that things were starting to die down from the initial intrigue that he had, because he had a lot of intrigue behind him when he first launched, and just you could just see it trickling down over time. And so I thought that he was going to be Trump's best competition for sure. Like I thought he would give Trump the most pushback for the nomination.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
In the beginning.
It looked that way for a long time, but like I said, when you start just seeing it die down over time, and you start to see that he's not connecting as well, or maybe not doing as well on the debate platforms. I mean, over time, I thought he got better at the debate stuff, but initially, off the rip, it just didn't seem like that was going to be his forte. And if that's the only place where people hear you speak is when you going up against the other candidates and you don't shine as well as people would have hoped for it, and the writing is going to be on the wall that this might not be your time. It's not to say that down the line maybe he doesn't figure things out. Same thing with Vivek, where it's like, yo, you still got time. You're not an old man by no means. Not that he's young, but he's not.
Only like 40, 44, 45. He's still young.
Yeah, still relatively young as far as politics is concerned. Clearly has political experience, like you mentioned. He's very policy oriented. So there will be a time for him. He's already kind of made it clear that he doesn't see himself as running mates with Trump. So I don't think that's going to be an option for him, which it shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the right move for every single Republican is just to piggyback off of Trump just because you lost to him. Ultimately breathing new life and new ideologies into the Republican Party can't hurt whatsoever. Especially if there is a pocket of Republicans who might not necessarily be on board with Donald Trump. So I think that he played his card as best as he could, and ultimately, it fizzled out. But I don't know if it's better to drop out early or drop out late at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing is, to me, this is just my opinion. The same thing is going to happen with Nikki Haley at some point as well. Like, she's going to lose New Hampshire now.
Yeah.
She'll probably lose South Carolina. And so it's funny, like, not to even change the subject, right? And not to make this topic about Trump, but we was having a conversation about him getting removed from ballots. And I said, I don't think it's going to have any sort of impact as far as the Republican
Yeah.
nomination is concerned.
Nope.
And they dropping like flies. Like, they're dropping like flies at this point, you know? So ultimately, you know, like I said, the writing was on the wall for Ron DeSantis. He knew that there was no path to victory for him. And, you know, it was time to pack up shop, man. To waste more money, more donors' money, waste time by staying on the campaign trail wasn't going to benefit him any. So it's just a matter of time before every other Republican candidate figures that out too. Like, there's no path.
Yeah.
There's no path when dude got that thing in a chokehold. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got the party in a chokehold. He might have the country in a chokehold. Well, that remains to be seen. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, it was inevitable. It was inevitable for Vivek. It was inevitable for DeSantis. And it's going to be inevitable for Nikki Haley too. I mean, she turned a guy like me off who doesn't even vote Republican. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine what the other people in the party may be feeling about her at this point. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Ron DeSantis is still the governor of Florida at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So he's still going to play a major role in politics, whether or not it be on Capitol Hill or not, anything like that. It's kind of irrelevant because he's still got a big name. He's still got a big following, and he'll still have a presence.
It's crazy too because, like you said, she turned you on, but you were just singing her praises like 3 podcasts ago.
I was, because I was a fan. Like, I like the fact that she was. Excuse me. I like the fact that she was. I don't want to say just because she was a woman, but I appreciated the fact that here's this woman challenging these other men and kind of making them look crazy on the debate stages.
Yeah.
Like, she performs really well in debates. But when I seen that comment as far as race is concerned, and as far as like racism and with the country, I was just like, that's one way to turn anybody off, because you sound out of touch now. Like, you're making it clear that you're out of touch. Like, and it's how do you expect to lead this country if you can't even reconcile with the history of this country?
Yeah. And it's crazy because you can't say this country was never racist, but then say, oh, the GOP doesn't want me because they're racist. And you're like, you just said the country is not racist. So how can one thing be true but the other one can't be? Like, it either got to be one or the other. Like, you can't say the country was never racist and then say, oh, the GOP is racist towards me because I'm a brown girl. And it's like, well, no, I don't think that's the truth. But
and it's not cool to claim that when it's convenient, man. Like, why would you claim that when it's convenient?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I don't like. I think with her, like if we go back in time to like when Kamala was running with Biden, she was promoting like, I'm black and I'm Indian. I'm Jamaican. I'm Indian. You know, I smoked weed with Tupac. Like, she was saying all these crazy things, and then and then now Nikki Haley never said anything about like her past. I haven't heard her say anything about being Indian or being. I've never heard her say any of that during the debate. Like, but it's like, oh, it's getting close now. Let me see what I can do when I say this. And it's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? You're saying the country's never been racist. Then you're saying, oh, the GOP is racist because I'm Indian and I'm an Indian girl. And it's like, what are you, an Indian brown girl? What are you talking about? You're not even brown.
Man,
if you're gonna say color matters, then why is Vivek not saying the same thing? Why is he not saying the same? Because he has an ethnic name and he's browner than you. Why is he not complaining? Why didn't Tim Scott say any of that? Why are you the only one saying it? And you're the whitest looking one. Why is it hurting you more than the others? What are you talking about?
Clearly, her team. She didn't consult with her team on that one, because I think most people would have told her that that's not the way to get more people on your side. You're going to turn off a lot of people by talking like that or by even trying to push that, because it's just like, I don't even want to say it's not true, because obviously you touched on her parents' background, but
Yeah.
if that's never been a part of your rhetoric at any point, then why would at this point, at this
Yeah. Why
far into the campaign,
now?
like you just so far into the campaign that it doesn't make real sense to even bring that up. Like
No.
it doesn't help you any. If that's your stance, you're gonna turn off so many, and it's like, yo, I don't know if I don't, and this is no knock against Republican candidates, but I genuinely like question sometimes whether or not they understand the power of the black vote. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
Yeah,
yo,
they absolutely do.
you're gonna turn off everybody, not even just the black vote, but minority vote in general. Like you're gonna turn off minorities in this country
Right.
by pushing that, by peddling that, when it's not genuine to who you've been up to this point.
Absolutely.
It's ugly. Like it's just nasty. It's nasty work, man. It's nasty work, bro. Like disgusting.
Yeah, like to me, like I like a candidate. It don't matter what color they are, to be honest. But like if someone's black, you don't gotta keep reminding me you're black. I know you're black. I can tell you're black. I look at you and see you're black. I know you probably had experiences. You don't even have to tell me about them. But I don't like if that's all you talk about. Like I think everybody's more than their experience, right? Like that experience may have made you who you are. You can touch on it, but it doesn't have to be the main thing of what you are. Like just because you're black doesn't have to be the only thing you are. You're black. Yeah, you're black, but what else are you? Like, what else have you done? Like, it's cool to be black. I'm black, but that's not the only thing that's good about me. I have
And
other
being
things.
black, just being black, being Indian, Asian descent doesn't make you a good politician. It doesn't even make you a good leader. Just to say that you're a particular race. Ultimately, this politics thing is about leadership. It's about being a representation of this country.
Yep.
And just to say that, vote for me because I'm a brown girl who's experienced discrimination, whether it be true or not, doesn't make you qualified in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And so to make that a point this far into your campaign is like, you clearly didn't you either you didn't discuss this with your team, or your team is just a bad strategic team. Like they clearly are not thinking in terms of the long term of this race, because even if you in a hypothetical situation, if you do knock off Donald Trump, which is far fetched at this point, how do you expect to go into a presidential campaign now talking like that when you got the entire country looking at you now? It's like, I was floored. I'm still floored, man. I liked her a lot, man. I was a fan.
Yeah, I think she lost a lot of people when she said that, made that comment, and she tried to clean it up. But I mean, I think that that's why her counterparts didn't endorse her. That's why Vivek didn't. Vivek's Indian. Why he didn't endorse you? He's Indian. Why he didn't endorse you? Right? Y'all stick together, right? Why did he not endorse you? That's a sign. That's a problem. Ron DeSantis didn't endorse you. So you got all the other candidates that dropped out didn't endorse Nikki Haley. So what does that tell you? Tells you a big thing there.
No,
because if she's the front runner, right? If she's the front runner behind Trump, you either got to pick one or the other. But then both candidates that drop out don't even endorse you. That says a lot.
I didn't expect them to endorse her, but I mean, the fact that even Chris Christie, when he dropped out, was caught on a hot mic talking crazy about Nikki Haley, about how she's not ready for this. You know what I mean? So when every single candidate that was your counterpart or your competition says like, yo, she's in way over her head, or she's not cut out for this, or along those same lines, I mean, it speaks volumes. Unfortunately for her, you know what I'm saying? Like it just speaks volumes. And so, she's got an uphill battle regardless, and she just didn't do herself no favors, man.
No, I think she was like it's like she had a gun and she's like, I'm just gonna keep shooting myself in the foot. And she just kept doing it.
Hey, listen, getting shot is painful, man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, she ain't stopped. She ain't stopped none of the bleeding. She just kept letting it bleed. So, but moving on from Nikki Haley and her disastrous talking point, we're moving on to coaching now. We're talking about the Breakfast Club now. For those of you who don't know, the Breakfast Club is a morning show on Revolt TV and Power 105.1 in New York, and it's owned by iHeartRadio, and it's
syndicated now. I think they might be in a 90-something markets or something like that.
Oh, okay. So they're all over the country, majority of the country.
Yeah.
They are a show that features Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, and before they had Angela Lee, but she left in 2022 to pursue her own avenues, her own career. And now from since 2022, they've been looking for a new host. So they've tried out people like Lauren LaRosa. They've tried out Jason Lee. They've tried out people like any type of celebrity that would come on the show and do that. So they tried out many people, but the person that kind of stuck and was kind of doing, recurring shows and things like that was Jess Hilarious. Now, you guys might not know who Jess Hilarious is. Jess Hilarious is a Baltimore comedian. Out in her mid 20s. She got very popular doing like skits and things like that on like Instagram, TikTok. And then she got really famous because she got shouted out by like Kevin Hart and all these other famous comedians. And, she's been doing tours and she's been on Wildin' Out a lot. She has her own podcast. I think it's called Recklessly Hilarious or something like that. Something like that. So right now, the Breakfast Club is kind of up in the air as to who their host is. They don't really know who they're going to go with. They don't even know if it's going to be Just Hilarious. But I'll just read into something I seen in an article about the kind of what led up to it. So, I already talked about. So the Breakfast Club had rotating co-hosts, including Just Hilarious, who later announced as a permanent replacement. So they announced her as a permanent replacement. But then things kind of went left. Jess was notably absent at the start of the new year, leading to confusion among the hosts about the co-host situation. Charlamagne the God expressed uncertainty about whether they would have another co-host in 2024. He said in a Breakfast Club interview, he was talking and he said, "Man, I don't know when we're gonna get a third host. It might just be me and Envy." So he said something similar to that. On January 23, Jess took a jab at DJ Envy and Charlamagne the God for comparing SZA to Mary J. Blige, calling them trash and stating that artists get upset when they make such comparisons. The comments on her Instagram story led to mixed interpretations, with some speculating it could signal an end to her involvement with the show. Charlamagne mentioned on January 16th that he didn't know where Jess was and that he's done with the rotating guest host. Jess' tenure on the show had controversy, including a standoff with Sexy Red over past critiques, though they seemingly made amends later. TMZ reported Charlamagne's comments about Jess focusing on her podcast and stand-up, indicating her engagement in other projects. Some question the status of Jess as a co-worker, hinting at potential tension between her and the other co-hosts. The situation has created uncertainty about the co-host dynamics on the Breakfast Club, with Jess' status and future involvement unclear. What's your take on that, bro?
I've been a Breakfast Club fan for a long time, man. I'm trying to think how far back it even goes at this point. Breakfast Club has been going on over 10 years now.
Probably like 2011, 2012, around that time.
Yeah. That sound about right. That definitely sound about right. I don't know, man. I wasn't a fan of the rotating guest thing. If I'm being honest with you, I wasn't a fan of it. No knock on Jess Hilarious. No knock on Lauren LaRosa, because I saw them on there regularly. Jason Lee would be on there here and there, and like you said, they every now and again when they had a celebrity guest, they would host with them for the day. But the big names was or the recurring names, I should say, was Lauren and Jess.
Shout out to Lauren LaRosa. She's from Delaware.
We're shout out to Lauren LaRosa, formerly at TMZ. Dope girl too. Jess is dope too, man. No taking nothing away from her, but I don't think that they fit the dynamic of the show. And that's crazy because like I don't think Angela Yee got the credit that she maybe deserved when she was there.
Yeah.
Because Charlemagne's star was growing so much at the time that, like, it was going to be hard for anybody to get much spotlight or much attention as that third chair. But Angela Yee was a dope co-host, man, and so
Right.
the process that they've been going through to try and find somebody to fill those shoes has been a difficult one. At this point, I don't necessarily think that a third co-host benefits them anyway. I don't know anybody that stands out enough to or has enough of a presence culturally that could come there and have an impact. So you got people like Jess and Lauren who were on the show and contributed often and made very good contributions to the show. But their presence just wasn't something that you yearned for, that you tuned in for to see. And so the camaraderie that is clear between Envy and Charlemagne carries the show at this point. Like
Right.
that's how the show still exists at this point, is the camaraderie and the relationship that those two have. It's, they piggyback off of each other really well. They joke with each other really well, and so when you bring in a third co-host, it's almost like somebody who's not included in the joke. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they telling jokes and the other person isn't even really included in it. So, I don't know if I agree with them in terms of, like, killing the whole rotating guest thing. I mean, yeah, the rotating
Yeah.
host thing, because it wasn't working. I don't think that it helped or hurt the team or the show in any way. Um, I'm I mean, I wouldn't say that they should rebrand, because the Breakfast Club is a brand now that's synonymous with the culture. They've had some of the biggest moments that we've had in the last decade have been on the Breakfast
Right.
Club. So I don't necessarily know what the plan is. Obviously, we're not a part of that show to know. But as far as what they've publicized, I mean, sometimes I think they trolling. Like, I don't know if they be trolling or not in terms of what the overall plan is, because I think they know. I think they got an idea of what they're doing, but they're just not publicizing it or putting it out there just yet. But I don't think that the third host is necessary for them at this point. They're well established. The show is well established. They can get any guests that they want. They've got other ventures outside of the Breakfast Club, so it's not like they have to do or go above and beyond to make the Breakfast Club pop. So, yeah, man, I think that, as long as they stay consistent as far as the guests that they bring on and the content that they push out, a third co-host is just not necessary. I like Teslin Figaro, who's on there. She does, like, front page news for them and stuff. I enjoy her. She comes on and talks politics and things like what's going on in certain aspects. So I like her. I like her contributions to the show. But I just don't think that at this point it's even necessary or something that they need to be actively pursuing. If there's somebody who naturally fits, then dope. But the people who they've had thus far clearly were just like Angela Yee replacements, and you can't replace Angela Yee. So
No.
they either gotta stick to the formula of just two hosts, or somebody has to emerge that has real presence. But I don't see that happening at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think you're right. I think the third host thing, I think they can kind of scrap that. They can carry the show themselves. I think with Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy doing it, I think they can kind of carry the show themselves. Keep continuously doing their interviews, interviewing guests, and I think Charlemagne the God, he's really good at doing interviews, really doing podcasts. So I don't think they really need a third host. I think I don't think they need one. I think they could do it where they can do a celebrity guest host every once in a while. Like, I don't mind that. Like, have somebody be a celebrity guest host, but a permanent third host, There's not really a lot out there that you could choose from, and then the people that they've had haven't really made a lot of waves, haven't really done anything. I really do think like Jess Hilarious. I mean, I think her. I'm be honest. I think her energy is a little bit too much for me. Like her energy is a little bit too masculine. I think Angela Lee was kind of countered their energy a lot, and she kind of gave off that nice femininity energy. So I think that kind of really kept the glue, because she came in asking questions about relationships, love, like how do you feel about this, like, and she would ask hard hitting questions as well. And I think that kind of gave the show balance, because you had back in the day, you had Charlamagne ask the most craziest, outlandish question. You had DJ Envy who kind of asked the real modest question, and then you had Angela, she would ask like the questions about love and sex and all this other stuff. So I think it was a good balance. We had it like that. I think it was a really good balance. And then as Charlamagne got better, Angela Lee got better. DJ Envy got better. So they got better at being doing great interviews. But I just don't think there's someone that can really replace that. And I really don't think, I really think they really didn't think of it like that. I think they kind of, she wanted to do her own thing. Cool. Who do we have to replace? I don't think they groomed anybody for that. They didn't really take anybody and say, I'm going to put you under my wing to watch and learn and do all that. So you put somebody in that spot that really doesn't mesh well. Like, I don't really care for Jess Hilarious on The Breakfast Club. I'm be honest. I don't really, the interviews they've had, I've watched 2 interviews where it was just them. They did one with Piers Morgan and they did one with Vivek Ramaswamy. I watched both of those interviews today. I didn't see a difference. Well, there was no difference to me, and they interviewed high-profile guests. So, to me, I didn't really see they needed a third host for that. It was very direct, straight to the point question. Boom, 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 boom. Same thing with Vivek. Shoot the shit. Ask questions. Boom, 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 boom. I don't really see the dynamic of a third guest. I think DJ Envy and Charlamagne, like you said, they're capable of. They have enough of a backing where that they're able to sustain this Breakfast Club with just them two until they're able to figure out another way.
No, definitely. And I mean, they got so much time built up. They have so much cultural equity built up that, they're still going to be a draw. Like even when it comes down to, the political stuff that we were just talking, to still be able to pull those politicians and presidential candidates, like it's so much of a brand that it's not a necessity. It's just not. I mean, they're such a corporate entity now too. Like you mentioned, they're iHeart, they're syndicated, so they're all across the country and multiple radio markets, to the point that you can't just put anybody there. I think they experimented with that, and they saw that it didn't produce results. Like it just didn't produce anything that was going to be worth continuing in the long run. So, shout out to the Breakfast Club, man. Shout out to the Breakfast Club, but I like it with just those two for now.
Yeah, and I just to piggyback, like I just wanted to say something about the Breakfast Club, like the interview they had with I think it was Piers Morgan, and he was asking them questions like, you endorse, Piers Morgan was telling Trump, you endorse Biden. And he gonna say, no, I just endorsed Kamala. And I'm like, she was the freaking vice president. Who the hell endorses a vice president? That doesn't make no sense.
I mean, I understand it, but you're right. It's not like she was running.
I wanted her. I was more rooting for her, but it's like, bro, it don't make a difference. Like she's not gonna do nothing. She's not gonna make the rules. She's not gonna. Like you endorse her, you are also endorsing who the president is.
And that's a package deal. You can't endorse Kamala and say that you're not endorsing Biden.
Saying.
You know what I mean? Like her name is on the ticket underneath his. You feel me?
That's like if Trump picks Vivek and you say, "Oh, I like Vivek," and that's it. Nah, dude, you're gonna get Trump too. Like you're not just gonna get one or the other. You're gonna deal with that. Like,
yeah,
crazy to me. And then Pierce called him out. Was like, well, you had Biden on the show here, and he said if you don't vote for black people,
man,
you're not black. And Charlamagne was baffled. He brought that up, and this is like, it's politics, man. Like people say the craziest things, and it's just like, And now you see this guy's been in office for almost 4 years. All the black people that voted for him is like, I'm like, why did we do that? And then I kind of can see, like, even when Trump's getting in office, Trump's gonna have to do a lot of fixing. He's gonna have to spend a lot of money to do a lot of what he's promised. So it's probably gonna be shitty the first year and a half, 2 years. It's not gonna be all glorious. You got to give shit time, and I think a lot of it, you're gonna have to give him time to really make the changes, because he's gonna be fixing a lot of shit. It ain't gonna happen overnight. He's gonna be fixing a lot of nonsense, like deporting all these illegals. He's talking about he's gonna deport. That costs a lot of money to do. Like, and I'm talking about illegals. We're not talking about legal immigrants. We're talking about illegals that came here illegally, didn't go through the proper channels. They gotta go. So he's gonna have to do all that. That's gonna cost mad money. Like, you imagine how much money that's gonna cost? And then other countries don't pay for that. We're paying travel to transport them to wherever they gotta go back. So that's my 10 on that. My little tangent.
Yeah, I had to let you go there, man.
Yeah, a little tangent. But all right, but do you want to get into your story? Or you want to leave that for another podcast? 'Cause I kind of think we should make that its own episode, to be honest, bro.
So yeah, we could save it. It's late. I ain't in no particular rush to be getting all deep or nothing anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a little deep.
We can make that we can make that for the next episode, and we can tailor it to that specific necessity, and that can be our main topic.
Word. Yeah. Stay tuned to the Who Asked Y'all To podcast if you're interested in that story. You know, I'll try and be as transparent as I can be when the time comes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I've shared it a lot.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the Chris Porterr episode, Chris Porterr story, and I think this is a story that, you know, if he ever wants to, I think he can make a lot of money if he wrote the damn book. Book about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you don't want to do it, but
coming soon, man. Coming soon for sure. Look out for that.
Oh my God, bro. The amount of money you can make writing your story, bro. That book in itself, like, I think it will go crazy, to be honest. It don't even have to be a hood, but it can be a story, a novel about what happened to you, where you went to, what changed in your life, and then where you are now. Like, I really do think you could really do wonders with that.
For sure. Like I said, coming soon. It's definitely been a thought of mine more recently. You know, putting the story on paper. But shout out to everybody who supported me during that time. Obviously, we're not gonna get into it now, but to everybody who's been in my corner for the past 9 years, much love, much appreciation. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. I wouldn't even be doing this or expressing myself as openly as I do if it weren't for the amount of support that I've gotten. Shout out to all the kids that I've been able to talk to in the past 9 years to try and inspire them to change their lives around before they find themselves in similar circumstances. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Stay tuned for that episode. It's gonna be a dope one. I don't want to invoke no tears of nobody or nothing like that, but we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna chop it up for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's all we got for you guys tonight. Peace and love to y'all.
Absolutely.
Good New Year. We out of here. Peace.
Episode 11. Thank y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. We out.